Welcome back to One to One, where my guest today is Nigel Roberts. He's the Managing Director of Paramount Office Interiors, but also the Chairman of the Cardiff Business Council. Nigel, we were talking about the Welsh Government, the Welsh Assembly. What do you see its role as being? Is it a creator and protector of jobs, or is it just to help people like you in business to go out there and do the job?
Well, I think you have to look. You have to look back at the start of the devolution process and when Welsh Government first came into being, and I think they've taken quite some time to actually really feel comfortable in what they're all about. And I think it's taken time for them to understand the relationships they need to have with local authorities and who's responsible for delivering, the important services for Wales. And I do feel that Welsh Government's focus has been very much on health and some of the big ticket stuff, education to a degree. We'll touch on that later. And I think in some regards, business was fairly forgotten about. And I think they were more interested in constitutional stuff rather than actually saying, okay, let's really get to grips with how do we actually make our country of Wales more prosperous. We're now seeing a step change. We genuinely are, and I think there is more focus now on the economic development agenda. And I think there has been a vacuum for years and years and years since the demise of the WDA. And I think now really engaging with business, which they are doing through the Cardiff Business Council, and Cardiff as the capital for Wales, as I keep saying, it's important that we leverage our contacts and the salesmanship that exists within the business community here to help Welsh Government actually meet their economic development objectives now.
But with a predominantly Labour administration since the inception of devolution, and with a public sector which is bigger in Wales than it is in other areas of the UK, they're always going to be playing catch up, and there'll be some within that establishment, if you like, who say, no, we're not business friendly, we're union friendly.
Yeah, I think this has always been the argument going back years and years and years. You used to have people that were wedded to the right and people that were wedded to the left, and you had capitalists and landowners, and you had those representing the working class. I genuinely feel the whole of the UK, and Wales included, everything has moved much more to the middle ground. And now it's more about fairness, it's more about opportunities for all. And I think that's the important thing, and that's when we talk about education, is ensuring that our kids actually recognise that if they're brought up in Wales and educated in Wales, they have just as many opportunities opening up for them as they would if they were in education in any other part of the UK. So I think it's important that business is actually fair, and if people still feel that way about business, then they're absolutely wrong, because it's business that tends to be the body that puts so much back into local communities, into the well-being of its staff welfare, because it's all about people. Business is all about people, and this idea that somehow business exploits people is something from the dark ages.
You've managed to get on this business park the headquarters of some high-tech and investment companies, multinationals. Someone was telling me, though, people won't come here because they fear the education for their children.
I think that is something that we really do need to tackle. And the Cardiff Business Council, coming back to this, got to be a little bit careful here, because from water pollution, no hope of solution. We can't cure everything, but what we can do from a Cardiff perspective is that we're looking at the 21 secondary schools that exist within Cardiff now, that we're going to put 21 thrusting young business people on those board of governors of the 21 secondary schools, working with the head of education, Nick Batchelor at Cardiff Council, to facilitate this, because there needs to be intervention. These kids need to be able to aspire to be something more than just their teachers. They may not necessarily be getting those role models at home. And also even in terms of motivating the teachers and the teaching staff and everybody involved in schools to show them there's a big wide world out there and there are massive opportunities. Because I do feel that our secondary school system is failing kids at the moment, certainly in Cardiff. There are some schools where almost 50% of the kids are on free school meals.
That's an economic, though. That's an economic argument, not an education one, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, I would say it is to a degree. But what tends to happen is that these kids from sort of impoverished areas tend to all be clustered together. So, that is then coming back to how do we deal with that? Is that the right thing to do, or should we actually look to sort of spread out to get some more balance within schools? So, yes, it is. The problem is that of economics, because a lot of those kids are on free school meals because their parents or guardians are on benefits. And that is why business and education need to work so closely together to ensure that those kids that come through the system have got opportunities for employment, and don't just see their parents or guardians as as something that they're aspiring to. So, and it's a tricky subject. This is the sort of stuff, talking to you now, we're getting into areas which are going to cause a little bit of controversy and stuff, but, to be honest, I don't care.
Okay, let's move away from the controversy and talk about Nigel Roberts, the man. Splot boy.
Born in Splot.
Born in Splot, okay, but you're a Cardiff man through and through. Cardiff Blues or Cardiff City Football Club?
I, believe it or not, I'm a sport nut, and you know that I've been involved with Glamorgan cricket for years and years, and I'm currently captain of Cardiff Golf Club as well, just because I've got nothing to do. I'm not very busy. So
how do you get time to chair the business council and run a successful organisation like this?
Well, if you want to get a job done, give it to a busy person. And the reason I got involved in that is because of the frustrations that business has in terms of working with government. So I just thought, well, come on, let's actually create a body here that can make a difference, make a bit of a noise, and actually, not take, when people start hitting me with negative waves, go, no, we're not. We're not listening to that. We just want to get on and look at the bigger prize. So it's allowed me time now to still be obviously involved in Paramount, but to actually go and give some sensible time to driving the Cardiff Business Council forward.
Let's look ahead 5, maybe 10 years. Cardiff City will, of course, be in the Premier League and established
Absolutely.
by then. What kind of city do you think Cardiff will be?
Well, I think, Cardiff City being in the Premier League is very important for the profile and the status of the city. There's no doubt that even that 1 year that we had in the Premier League, Cardiff, I was in Singapore, and Cardiff City, football, it's incredible, that brand of Premiership football around the world, and it's very important that we're in that club of cities in the Premier League. And I feel sorry for Vincent Tan in some ways. He's been vilified. He's been damned if he does and damned if he doesn't. And it's been difficult for him. We've got to understand it's a very different culture in the likes of Malaysia. And I just hope now January window that we might just buy a couple more players. I feel the balance of the team isn't quite right there. So it's important that it's still a long way to go. I'm still hopeful we might be able to make those.
And for the city in a business context, do you think we can actually realise the vision that you and the council have for us?
We absolutely can. I think the reason we can as well is that Cardiff is an event city. And we've been in a very successful event city now for a number of years. From Rugby World Cups. We've got Round the World Yacht Race coming here. We've the Volvo Round the World Yacht Race. I mentioned about the World Half Marathon coming here on Easter Saturday 2016. We'll have the world's best runners. We'll have 30,000 mass participation event as well. It'll be the biggest charity event once again that Wales holds every year. But importantly, it's going to be on network TV, on BBC One Live, and also beamed out to 65 countries around the world. And when you look at that running race, starts outside Cardiff Castle, runs over the River Taff up to Penarth Marina, across the barrage into the old part of the bay, past a lot of our iconic buildings, then run around a Victorian lake at Roath Park Lake, and then finishing outside the Royal College of Music and Drama. Those helicopter shots of our city, beamed across 65 countries around the world and the rest of the UK, I can guarantee people are going to go, wow, what a place. And that's the sort of thing that we can do, because, if you compare the Cardiff Half Marathon to the Great North Run, they run down a motorway and over the bridge. You've got the Angel of the North. That's about it. From a televisual experience, our city is a fantastic city. People don't realise how close it is to its waterfront as well. So what a great opportunity for us to showcase our city by focusing on these major events.
Nigel Roberts, thanks for going Run to Earn or Made in Cardiff.
Pleasure.